What's going on? Tuesday painting stream. Welcome to YouTube, the YouTube version of this exact same stream that you've always been watching.
Yeah, here's the difference. Watch this.
Yes. Oh, wait. Okay. We're watching.
Boom.
Whoa. Wait, what just happened?
The bar went away.
Oh. Okay.
And also the chat background is going to go away. Because, until I get that figured out, which might not even happen this stream.
Lubriderm front and center. Yeah, we're doing some sculpting today. And one thing that I learned about a while back when I was reading blogs about sculpting was about Lubriderm, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. How you guys doing? I see Adric Knight in the chat. I see Rufus Kit. I see HUD. Definitely some familiar faces. Scott 112508. What a great name for YouTube. That's Scott. That's my buddy Scott.
That's the real Scott.
That's the real Scott. If you've been here long enough, you'll remember when this stream was originally on YouTube. And if you've been here even longer than that, you'll remember when the actual original stream was on Twitch. Boom! But no, it was originally on Twitch and then came here for a little bit, kind of played around on YouTube and then went back to Twitch. How did he know? I just know. I'm just tricky. Harder for them to mispronounce your name. That's true. That's true. But yeah, so today we are, last week's stream, if you missed it, it's on the backlog channel, you can check that out. But last week we were experimenting with some new schemes for my Dark Eldar, trying to re-envision like what I think of when I think of Desert Dark Eldar, or how Evan put it in the stream title, Dune Eldar, which is like, yeah, sure, that's definitely what I'm going for. Kind of a militaristic, desert-esque Dune, Dune-looking Dark Eldar. And in this stream, what we're going to do is we're going to look at converting some kits to make for better Kabalite warriors. And so I have some kits with me today. I have the Kabalite Trueborn kit that came from Soul Shackle, the Kill Team box. And then I have the Eldar Corsairs from the Nachmund Kill Team box. And we're just doing some conversions. I also have some older models, which effectively are the same thing. I have other Kabalite Warrior sprues that we'll be converting. And yeah, let me just show you where we're at right now.
It's bare legs.
Bare legs. So these are legs from the Corsair kit, and they had a bunch of like soul gems all over them, and like other like kind of like circular oval armor plates, and I removed all of those armor plates and I smoothed the legs out nicely, and then I started to put on segmented armor, which you'll find on all Dark Eldar armor. It's actually interesting. It was interesting when I did this. The things I noticed that were different about Eldar-ish legs and Dark Eldar-ish legs. Obviously, the segmented armor plates is one thing. The armor details are much more angular and mean looking. And the knees are also significantly smaller on the Eldar Brethren. So I'm gonna have to make bigger kneecaps. And also there's like this weird, kind of like kneecaps that can cut you armored thing, these wingdingers I'm gonna add. I'm not gonna add it on this other leg because there's a cool combat knife right there. I don't want to obscure it. But I thought if I made this knee bigger and it made this knee bigger with that kind of knife thing, that would kind of remind us all of Dark Eldar. So we're gonna do that today. And then maybe we'll also do a little bit of this guy. This guy, it's just a halberd on his knee. Yeah, basically. Important question, are we adding 80s Dune movie stupid voice guns? Maybe we could, that sounds really nice. This guy came from one of the dudes who hangs off the edge of one of the raiders. And I kind of cut his leg up so that he'd be kind of stepping forward a little bit. I know it looks a little rough right now just because of all the paint that's kind of chipping off after I've been manhandling this model. But we're going to sculpt in this middle thing. Every Dark Eldar has this crotch tabard in the middle that I wanted to add in, but they all have it just hanging straight in between two spread out legs. Like every Dark Eldar warrior, and this is one of the problems I had with them, is that they have this wide stance, every single one of them, and they have this tabard in the middle. And I wanted more of like a natural flowing one, because I want to see them saunter. You know, they're elves. They're pompous assholes. So they need kind of a smoldery walk. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. But I'm just gluing together all the elements. But I still need to do what I did on the foot here, which is kind of like soften some of the curves, add some more, folds of cloth, because you can see how like it wraps around their waist a little bit. And I'm not gonna try to do this perfectly because it's gonna hide under a gun or some details a little bit. But I want some kind of sculpted fabric detail that connects the waist with this element that I glued on. All right. What up, Miscast Terrain? Is this for Kill Team? You know what? I don't know what this is for. I obviously like Dark Eldar when it comes to 40k the main game. And I'm just trying to make Dark Eldar look like what I want them to look like. And you could say, how are you ever going to scale us up to an army? And the answer to that question, Rufus, is I don't know. But I'm not thinking about that too much right now. I'm just trying to have fun and, do some fun conversions. And I don't necessarily know what it's for. Ideally, for a full army, is this a reasonable amount of work to do for a full army? For Cabalite warriors? Absolutely not. But I want to try it out. Oh, you saw Sisu? Nice. Did you like Sisu? You'll never not call me Miscast Terrain. Do you want me to call you Miscast?
Jesus.
Could be for anything. Yeah, it could be for anything, yeah. You said the wide stance, and now I can't get the jean shorts scene from Always Sunny out of my head. A potential name for the DE Warband, the Wingdingers? Absolutely, Scott. We'll call them Wingdingers. Also, I love how Scott is here. Wait, Scott, did you ever come to the Twitch stream? We're live at the same time every single day. All right, so what I've done before stream is mixed up a little bit of milliput and green stuff. And I put it on my thumb here, and you can see it in the painting cam. This is a really convenient spot for me to just scrape putty off of my thumbnail and put it right onto the model. So I kind of just put it right there. And now that's a trick I learned from a blogger whose name escapes me. He's a Canadian guy, and he loves his Tyranids, and he's a modern synthesist. So before he was on Instagram in a big way, I followed his blog, and he would put a little bit of milliput on his thumb right here. He also would do this. He'd also would put a little bit of moisturizer, just a neutral one, right in his hand, and he would use this when he was using his silicone shapers. These things, they're like they're little rubbery brush type implements.
I did it.
Nice, I see that. Okay, cool. How did you get it to stick to your thumb? I don't know, it just kind of sticks there. The green stuff definitely helps. Green stuff is a little bit stickier than milliput, but milliput also works. Scott's been my crutch in painting minis, and I've improved so much with my hobby using your device and tools. So thanks, man. You're very welcome, Damien. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. But yeah, so got some moisturizer right there. And one thing that's really nice about the moisturizer is it does the same thing that water does for milliput, but it doesn't disintegrate milliput in the same way. Milliput really has a tendency to fall apart when you add like too much water to it, and it's very easy to add too much water to it. So this doesn't have the same problem, so that's cool. That solves one issue. And then with my mix here, I've done a little bit of green stuff and a little bit of milliput. And that is the best of both worlds, in my opinion. I'm using like a 7-to-3 mix here, 7 being milliput, 3 being green stuff. The green stuff gives you a little bit of stickiness, a little bit of tackiness. It doesn't create like the sharpest corners known to mankind like milliput does. And that's very helpful for miniature painting, actually. You want a little bit of a radius on your edges. You don't want it to be super sharp for painting's sake. And so today we're going to take this mixture and we're just going to kind of build up these kneecaps a little bit and get them bigger and chunkier and add on some of those wingdingers. Chat die?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, while you work on that, I'll start doing some sculpting. And I like to use this tool a lot for my conversions. It has this nice little thin, I don't know what you call it, like a spade-esque bit on one side, and then like this little scooper on the other. And this nice radius is really good for smoothing out like big areas of putty really quickly. That side I don't use so much. But yeah, this tool, it seems to do a lot for me. This and the color shapers. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to also do some recording. Did you find, oh yes, I did. Thank you for reminding me. So Evan found some great ones that were 3D printable. And then I found a couple that, before I do this, I'm actually I'm gonna scuff up these knees a little bit just to give it some more tooth.
Man, that 3D printer's still sitting there.
Which one?
The one right behind you.
No, it isn't. Oh, it is. Oh, sorry. I set up the other things. I forgot because I needed to set up some stuff for Alex to shoot footage of, and
Yeah, you also got the cleaning station and the curing station.
Yeah, and I set that up, not the printer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not believe me?
No. I'm in agreement with you. Okay, Streamlabs, why are all the names green?
Green. Poop on a butt. What a Blackmagic craft. You can take dabs then too.
In fairness, that's my favorite kind of poop.
On a butt?
It's much better than poop on my hands.
Dude, yes.
Or elsewhere. Poop on my carpet.
It's funny how you can say something like, what did I read earlier today? It was like something about like reversing the order of I pooped a little and then farted, or I farted a little and then pooped. It's a very different situation, you know? One you're okay with, the other one you're very not okay with. What up, the Gin Reaper? Okay, right. Thank you, mycelium veins. So the heads that I'm happy with, and I was like, okay, I like this idea of doing like a certain style of head for the leader, the Sybarite of the unit, and a different style of head for the rest of the unit. And so I wasn't necessarily sure like what kind of head I would do for either one. But some options are, actually the Corsair heads are phenomenal. They all have this kind of like gas mask look on them that is really good. I found in looking at a bunch of like desert inspired helmets that they often use like turbans and stuff, and that's totally fine. But they also have very angular gas masks, and they don't look alien. They look human. And I don't necessarily want my Eldar to look and feel human. I want them to look like aliens. And so the one that we found last week, which is kind of like one of their orb helmets that you would see on like a Reaver jet bike dude, that feels more alien to me. And so does the Corsair gas mask. So that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like one of those like large glass dome helmets that you get in the
Use your words.
the witch box, and also that you get in the Reaver jet bikes box to get this like kind of this cool glass dome helmet. That's a cool one. And also the last one I found was in the Van Sar. What is this? Is this Necromunda? The Van Sar gang has really cool bug-like helmet. That'll be great for kind of like an alien-esque helmet. And then for the Sybarite, I wanted to do the typical Cabalite head, the big conical head, because it is classic looking. Which printer did I get? I got the new, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's 12K. That sounds ridiculous. It might be 8K, but the new, not the Mars one, the Saturn.
Saturn,
yeah. The newest Saturn.
Their bread and butter mid-size printer.
What's the wait, so is the Mars the entry-level one?
The Mars is the smaller one, which was what I would call entry-level.
Okay, and then what's the big daddy?
The Jupiter.
The Jupiter. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Scott, that box is going to disappear if you're not careful. I need a bigger build plate so I can build my big robot.
Who's going to steal it, Evan?
Definitely not me.
Definitely not you.
No. I would never dream of it. Constantly.
Constantly. I have a bunch of... Oh, thanks, Scott. Yeah, maybe. 30 or 40 of them. Jesus. Okay, so there's a 12K helmet. Okay, that's good to know. All right, so one thing about the Dark Eldar knee pad is that the sides of the knee are quite bulked out. Like, they're quite thick. And so I'm going to try to just keep adding some material here to the sides. Not worrying too much about the exact shape yet, but just in hopes that when I start doing some smoothing, the increased material on the sides will then become a thicker knee. I also did the same thing by adding a little bit more green stuff to the top of the knee, because if we compare a Dark Eldar knee and like the one that I am working with here, the knee is almost flush with that segmented armor, and the kneecap kind of comes over that segmentation as one final layer. And so I want to make sure that I do that on this armor as well. Did you do anything fun this weekend, Evan?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if it's not jumping to mind, right?
Yeah, probably not.
I did print a big robot.
Oh, okay.
And I put it together yesterday, and then I was like, it's too small. It's not like egregiously too small, but it was too small. And so a guy happened to walk by, and he was like, wow, is that a robot from Titanfall? I was like, yeah. And he's like, my kid loves Titanfall. And I was like, you want it? $10. So there you go.
A guy happened to be walking by.
Yeah, he was there to play Necromundo with a friend before, like he probably showed up at the store at like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And he was like, man, my kid really loves Titanfall. And I'm like, well, I really don't need the model because it's the wrong size.
Okay, I thought that I thought that you were printing a model in your basement. Some guy just walked by.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah.
You're just chilling in your basement. Someone wanders into your house to steal your TV. And it's like, wow, is that Titanfall?
Yeah, exactly.
No. I was assembling it yesterday at the store because I wanted to check its scale. I was pretty sure it was too small, but until you're actually, like, holding it next to a couple minis. And yeah, it was... I oversized that model for the follow-up print by about 20%. So...
What are you doing with the print? What's the purpose?
Because nobody makes what I want in a regular retail product, so I'm just printing it myself
for 40K specifically.
Damn right.
Okay. I totally feel that.
The Superior War game.
Yeah.
If you're going to be getting your DUNE Eldar together, I have to have something to fight you with.
There you go. And that's basically why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's just because I want to make something for 40K that I really like and that I feel like kind of belongs to me creatively. And that's what I'm trying to do with my Dark Eldar right now. Like, I don't have anything that I'm like super in love with, but this could work. So let's give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah, if you want to hear my full like hour-long rant, you can just pull up last week's stream VOD where we talked about how there's like nothing out there in the practical big robots range other than a few fan sculpts of the robots from Titanfall 1 and 2.
We need to have some realistic expectations for robots here in the 40K space. Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yeah, it's hard to live up to the big robot standards set by video games.
Yeah.
By big media. And then you get the real plastic and you're like, this is okay.
It's okay.
But I was just expecting more. This is like a 6 out of 10.
It's magical how well these color shapers work. Like, you just get like, look at that. I didn't do jack shit. I mean, I did a little bit. I just add a little bit of this moisturizer and you can just smooth it out like so well. And like, maybe it's not gonna be perfect. Like, I'm definitely gonna have to come back and do a little bit of sanding, a little bit of scraping. I've done that for every single layer though, and like, it's working out great. Gotta add some spikes and whatnot to the calves. Just because like all Dark Eldar have like spikes of some kind on their calves. But this is working great. And it's not hard. It just takes patience.
Yeah, once it's hard, you can't work on it anymore.
That's true. It's very true.
Framing.
they didn't make the thing, so the thing I wanted, so that is why I made my own 40K models. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Then some nice legs. Thank you, sir.
I may or may not have sent some messages to people I know in the various industries saying, "Hey, you should just like make this. People would buy this."
And then what happened?
And they said, "Hmm.
I'm
Hmm."
not sure if I agree with you. Alright, I'm probably not going to add the giant knife knee thing right now, just because it's good to go in layers. Like with these segmentations, I did one at a time, just to kind of really make each one nice. I sharpened each one like independently, and I'll probably do the same thing here, just because it's 2-part epoxy putty, and like I just know from experience that like when I'm working on this stuff, it like has a tendency to, I mean, I'm gonna touch some other part that I'd already finished and finalized, and so I want to avoid doing that. And so working in multiple passes is just a really easy way to do that.
So, chat, what 40K army should I be running if I want my army experience to be like I am operating Titanfall 2 multiplayer as my faction? I got big robots, I got pilots as heroes, I have regular guardsman type dudes and drone dudes and smaller big robots. Chaos Knights.
Damn, look at that. Chaos Knights is the answer to your question?
That was the first response. It's probably Tau, but
You don't think there's a world where you would like Astra Militarum? Or the other one? What's the fucking robot boys?
the Robot Boys?
The robot boys.
Knights?
No, Adeptus Mechanicus. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah. No, I looked at Mechanicus as an option, but I think their overall model count is off for what I'm looking for. I think it's probably Tau, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It would be pretty funny to print a Ronin from Titanfall 2 and have that as Captain Farsight, because he's like the only Tau that has the melee weapon, or Tau robot.
Do it. Okay, I'm probably nursing this way too much. When I talked to Valbjorn about this, and I was kind of like asking him, like, how much, what should I use? What kind of mixture should I use? And he was like, don't fret too much about getting the final shape, because you're going to always mess up. He's like, worry more about just getting everything kind of right. And then from there, you can soften things, you can scrape things, you can sand things, and it'll all look fine. And so right now, I just need to get the shape right. And the one thing I'm not getting right is the point of the knee is not bending with the shape, right? So this point kind of, it doesn't jut out very far from the rest of the segmentation. It's pretty close. And at the moment, maybe I put too much green stuff on there, because it is quite a thick segment.
Thick.
Playing 40K without giving GW a goddamn cent. This is a really good thumbnail, or title rather.
Yeah, Damien, the community's been very aggressively making fan works of the new 40K sculpts. When they released the video at Adepticon, you know, like the teaser for 10th edition where the Terminators are fighting the Hive guys.
The Hive guys.
Hive boys. Before they ever previewed a single model, there were already the new Terminator sculpts up on various websites.
Damn.
Where people were like, yep, these are the proportions. This is what we saw in the video. Here you go. Like within a week. It was like nuts. Do not eat at Hive guys.
All right, I need to make sure that I make this other knee kind of approximately the same size as this one.
That's always the hardest part about sculpting, is symmetry.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take it off this little thing just for the time being because I can see myself squishing this and messing up all my work. Space Marines. I can't imagine that the ones that were up the day after were any good.
On the other hand, they were drawing from pretty good models, and there's not a lot of changes.
Okay.
I mean, like, if you already have a sculpt of a Primaris Marine, that's pretty good.
Right, I suppose so. Like, the idea isn't super crazy. It's just they are...
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I need to do shoulders like this, and the arms get bigger, and he's got a new collar thing, and we're done.
Yeah.
Got it.
Basically.
No, Streamlabs, stop it. I don't want to install you. Thank you. Go away.
So I think last time when we were streaming, we said we were going to try out YouTube for, what was it, 2 weeks?
I think we said for just these 2 streams, this and then the gaming stream, which is still seemingly undecided.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that at the moment.
People need to respond to messages.
Yeah. And maybe Discord isn't the right place to message Schaefer, and I should message him elsewhere.
They might have the server not on notification mode.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe we should just do the whole month of, or at least a month's worth of streaming, just because, you know, it's hard to really detect any kind of difference over such a short span of time.
I have no input or feedback on the matter.
Okay.
I am fine with whatever.
All right. You ever get asked to paint stuff not miniature related? I'm currently painting some wedding toppers, and it's an odd experience. Yeah, I've been asked to, not recently, but some time ago, I got asked to paint some keycaps for a keyboard.
Really?
Yeah, and I you know what? It was. I mean, I love keyboards, so it was a good combination of my interests. And also, let me tell you, and I said this too in the past, those guys and gals care a lot about their keycaps, and they will pay a premium for very poorly painted keycaps. And I'm not even saying that I painted the ones I painted poorly. I painted mine pretty well, but like for the standard of what they accept, that is an incredibly ripe field for commissioned painters. So if you want to you don't care what you're painting necessarily, and like you want to show off some skills that are going to impress some people, our mechanical keyboards.
The enthusiast keyboard community is actually probably much bigger than the enthusiast miniature painter community.
Maybe, yeah. Or for, like, at least people willing to pay for commissions, yeah.
It's just, I mean, there's a lot of gamers, and they all want to show off their sick, clicky-clacky keyboards.
Yeah. You know what's weird? I bet people who build computers and people who hobby spend like the exact same amount of money on the hobby, but the thing with gamers, or PC gamers specifically, is they
enjoy themselves much more.
That too. No, but they also just pay for all their stuff up front. But what it makes it feel like is the hobby is more expensive, whereas in our case, it's more of like a slow grow thing. And so it feels like you're spending less money because each individual product is less expensive. I guess it depends how many video games you're buying, right? If you're buying like every new AAA title, then it's probably pretty expensive. But I would say they're really comparable. I would say even maybe the hobby is on average more expensive than PC gaming. But
oh, certainly.
I could be wrong though.
I mean, deal hounding is a lot harder in the wargaming space, I feel like, because you actually have to buy from someone, right?
Yeah.
You're waiting for someone to offload their extra Stormcast or whatever. Whereas with deal hounding for gaming is just, I'm not going to play it when it comes out. I'm going to wait 6 months and buy it when it's on sale.
Mm-hmm.
And the sale discounts that something like Steam runs are way, way steeper than any physical retailer is going to do, other than when they're like going out of business or something's been on the shelf for 5+ years.
Right.
This is a dead game. Here's our Guild Ball we're blowing out for $4 a box or whatever.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also
Howdy. Come on in. FedEx. Need to sign. Scott. Gotcha.
Hi, Scott.
Yeah, see, chat. I'm Scott. What did we get? What did the Scots get?
I don't know.
Scott, this doesn't have a return address on it.
No?
It's a bomb.
Ah! Okay. That needs looking good.
Kit Form Services.
That's looking fine. There is some of the knee pads showing, which I can deal with. All right, what do we... This is a large box.
It is a big box.
Documents enclosed. Let's see what it is, and if we can show stream. It's got a little FedEx delivery.
You know what makes me feel uncomfortable about my age?
What's that?
When I start realizing that I'm older than like delivery drivers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It used to be that the FedEx guy was always like at least older than me. Slightly. And now it's like, oh. That guy was probably like 25.
I think when that happened for me was when like I realized that I was older than like pop stars.
Yeah,
like,
and professional athletes.
Yeah,
where
things
it's
that
like,
yeah.
Oh, Tom Brady retired and he's like the last guy in the NFL that's older than me.
Right, yeah.
Kill me. What's in the box?
It is copies of models from a Kickstarter campaign that came from my caster to me.
Oh.
See ya. Before the wedding cake toppers, I actually had an old buddy contract me to paint metal frame on his liquid cooler for his new PC. Yeah, I bet with some airbrush skills, I'm sure you could definitely nail that. But
honestly, we need to bring back custom vans.
Custom van, like the shoes?
No.
Oh, like, minivans and shit?
Yeah, like a custom panel van with a sick airbrushed wizard on the side.
There you go.
And then, like, you got, like, text on it. So it's like, my van is called the Polish Stallion.
The Polish Stallion? The fuck?
Yeah, written in, like, gold flake.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, behind it, you got, like, a wizard fighting a dark Eldar. Fuck it. Let's bring the hobby in.
There we go.
And then GW can issue a cease and desist for your van.
Do a sick rap. Get fined.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
Now we're talking. That's true. Painting shoes is a big thing. Painting everything is a weirdly big thing.
Painting everything? Hey, what do you mean, painting everything?
Where you just are like, oh, people get paid to do that? Okay, cool. Like the repaints of Magic cards,
Oh, sure, yeah.
stuff
yeah.
like that, where I'm just like, doesn't that ruin the card? Oh no, that's very cool. Oh, okay, sure. I thought the point was like its original collectability, but what the fuck do I know?
What do you know?
I know enough to know that I know very little.
Oh my gosh. Preach. This is why I don't know how people can be just confident about so many things that they talk about.
I'm still confident about a lot of the things I talk about, but
I just don't know. It's like, how do you fucking know? How do you know that the things you're telling me right now are in fact true? And the answer is they don't.
I have faith, brother.
Faith.
Faith in my scientific experimentation and information. Also being old, yeah. How long should it take for green stuff to harden?
It depends what you want to do with it. If you want to sculpt on top of it, you can wait. You don't have to wait as long. But if you want to scrape and sand it, you have to wait longer. I would say for sculpting on top of it, it also depends on the amount, right?
Honestly, it even depends on who makes it.
Really?
My Army Painter green stuff is different than the green stuff that I've gotten from Green Stuff World, which is different from the green stuff that I've gotten from other suppliers. It's not like hugely different, but they're clearly not exactly the same epoxy-wise. Or maybe it's just how long they've sat in a warehouse or whatever.
Yeah. That's interesting, because I tend to think that they're all, at least they all look the same. Like, okay, I don't know if anyone knows this. Well, first of all, if you have more green stuff, there's more of a reaction and it cures faster.
Yes.
It's an exothermic reaction. You can't really feel it because it's such a small quantity, but the more of it you have, the more heat it generates, the faster it cures. If you apply heat to it, it cures faster. You put it in the freezer, it cures slower. So it's exothermic, and that can either increase or decrease how fast it kicks off. So if you're sculpting a tiny little thing, it's going to go faster. Sculpting a big thing, it's going to go longer. But regarding green stuff and like where it comes from, every single one that I've ever got has a wider yellow band than a blue band. And I've heard that this is because the original purpose for green stuff was plumbing and like that kind of, and like clogging pipes and stuff like that, and like kind of fixing leaks and stuff. And that there's supposed to be more yellow stuff, because the more yellow stuff there is, the rubberier it becomes, which is better suited for that task. And also, furthermore, you never get a case. Whenever you get green stuff, you never get a fucking case. When you buy a Pox Sculpt, it comes in 2 different pucks. You can close them. It isn't airtight, but it's better than this. Every green stuff I've ever gotten has dried out before I've ever actually used the entire thing.
100%.
So why the fuck do we not have a green stuff? I don't care yet. Like, this is so easy to fix. Same amount of blue stuff and green stuff. Put them in different containers. It has a lid that I can close and open whenever I want. Why has no one done that yet?
You know what I would like to experiment with sometime?
What's that?
Is just messing with the ratios between the blue stuff and the green side.
That definitely, people do that very often.
Yeah, but like actually building up a table of like, this is how it performs. This is what it's like. Because it seems like, for instance, the yellow side is also the side that controls how sticky it is. You know, because green stuff is very sticky for the first like 5 minutes. And then it quickly starts to taper off and lose its tack. And then like once it's like 15, 20 minutes old, it barely sticks at all.
Yeah.
I wonder if adding more yellow makes it stickier longer. I don't know.
It might. I think the blue stuff makes it more carvable, makes it harder.
Yeah.
So that would track in my head if that were the case.
There's also the other aspect of this, which is it's all bullshit all the way down. And green stuff is a urban legend. No, the thing that bothers me most is that they lay down both stripes touching each other. And so whenever I am using green stuff, you have to be careful. There's hardened chunks in the middle of it where the two meet.
Yes.
Because the interaction has happened and it's had time to cure. And so there you go. You're like, oh, this is what it is. So you're mixing it and you'll come across little chunks and you go, what the hell's happening? And it's because you didn't pluck out every last little bit from where they were touching.
Yes. This happens too. And so this is why they should just be in their own containers.
100%.
I don't understand why this hasn't happened yet. And the only reason I can think of is because like everyone every person who sells green stuff gets it from the same Chinese manufacturer, the same 3.
I'm sure that there's probably like 2 or 3 places that
Right.
make the stuff.
And they all make it for plumbers because this is what they need. This is how it works.
Yeah,
and
the cheapest thing is to just lay it down in like 2 taffy stripes.
Exactly.
On top of a plastic thing, and then it's sliced to length for packaging.
Yeah. So that's my only guess. And if anyone's out there who's got a company, you want to make a really easy, simple fix to green stuff, and like claim some product in the market space. This is super easy. I don't know how.
Marketed as like artisan green stuff.
Sure, yeah, there you go.
Premium.
Super easy to fix.
Yeah, Epoxy Sculpt comes in 2 separate containers. Milliput comes in 2 separate like bags.
Yep.
Inside the box or whatever.
Yep. All that stuff.
But most 2-part sculpting things, other than green stuff, come in at least separate pieces of plastic.
Come on now. Come on, Army Painter. Hobby products, companies.
Someone, save us.
This is easy. Okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do this successfully. Sculpt some kind of like fabric-y thing, but we'll see. I'm just gonna shove a bunch of green stuff in here and then start smoothing it with color shapers and just see if I can maybe like a little bit of like a wavy line or two to indicate fabric. We'll see though.
My green stuff in a tube, so I put a ball of tinfoil in to separate them. Okay. What? How does a ball of tinfoil separate them?
I think maybe it just means like a tinfoil strip. I don't know.
That's the real conspiracy, Green Mountain Models. Maybe it sells more green stuff. That's right. That's how they get you.
Rufus Kid is using the formal name of the product, which is called Neatite. And he's telling me that it does come in separate tubes if you want it. That's cool. Do the tubes close, Rufus Kit, or did they does it not close? Miniac stuff, there it is, yeah. Yeah, let's run another Kickstarter campaign.
Miniac stuff is something different. Noble Knight has them in independent containers.
Good. And are they resealable?
Looks like it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't know if it was like a plastic wrap thing like you see for most stuff.
It's kind of weird. They look like vials almost, with like rubber plugs on the top. Scott's Sticky Icky. Yikes.
And it's green too? Come on. Come on now.
It's legal now. Yes, Amostine. We are streaming on YouTube today and for the next stream and maybe more after that. Which milliput do you prefer, Scott?
Definitely a standard yellow-gray.
You like the standard yellow-gray? I have fine and super fine in my on-the-go painting kit.
Yeah. I've used the super fine before, and I think I just got an old one because it was not nice to work with. And so I haven't ever used it since, but I'm sure it would be good if I just got one that was like...
I think if I was going to make a recommendation, I would say don't use the super fine. It can be a pain.
Oh, okay.
The regular fine is kind of where it's at.
And what's that called? Confusingly, the box that is red is called yellow-gray.
Oh, yeah. The labels, you just ignore all the stuff. Superfine is superfine white because the color that it ends up being when you mix them is white.
Okay.
And that can be nice. I do use superfine for like filling gaps and stuff like that sometimes. But I think the fine, which is gray or silver gray or something like that, is easier to work with.
Okay.
Yeah, Crazy Vasey. We're doing a scientific experiment. We don't have channel memberships turned on, but if you want to support the stream, you can send a super chat, or you can donate, or buy a shirt.
Will the shirt show up?
Yeah, it should still. All that should still work. I think.
Damien Subtle says orders Miniac stuff, gets Miniac body pillow with a get wrecked note love. Or love note, maybe.
Oh, wait. We don't have Nightbot in here. Hang on.
Be real with me. Should I switch over my Twitch sub? I mean, it's entirely up to you. Like, we're going to be here for a month. We're trying it out for a tech-related reason. If you want to show support here as like your way of like voting that you prefer the stream here, like honestly, just showing up is enough of an indication that is your vote. But supporting also helps as well. But up to you. Okay, I've built up some green stuff and now it's starting to look like this edge of the fabric is actually connected to something as opposed to just kind of like glued to his crotch. I had to actually clip his crotch off. Felt brutal doing it.
Rip.
I will follow you wherever, my friend. Appreciate it. Miniac merch, why am I broke? I need to get paid already. Yes. So why do you switch to the YouTube? Both platforms have pros and cons. We're testing out just to see if it'll get more views. Like if people are more interested in tuning into a stream, because it makes sense, right? If I'm a YouTuber, then it makes sense why my audience would be largely on YouTube and wanting to hang out and watch my content there. And so we're just seeing if that is true at all. But aside from that, there are lots of reasons why one might stream on YouTube over Twitch and vice versa. And so we're seeing a lot of things, like is it a pain in the butt? Is it better for performance? Etc., etc. Do you guys like it more?
Captain Howdy makes a good point. I prefer YouTube because my job's internet blocks Twitch.
There you go.
Because Twitch is a degenerate website for degenerate gamers.
Agreed.
Damien Stuttle says, if Scott made a Miniac dice, my dream of opening a game shop would go bankrupt.
I do want to make dice at some point. I just don't know what to do for the 6 side or the 1 side.
I mean, the 6 side is kill your friends, and then all 5 other sides are faces.
Let's just make this the most inconvenient dice to use.
It's impossible to read unless you roll a 6. Because you're like, oh, that's the one with text, so it's a 6. What does Dan's face mean again? Is Dan a 1? No, Scott's a 1. So Dan's a 2.
Exactly. This is working out great.
Yeah.
Okay. And now that's kind of like nice and smooth, or at least a little bit smoother. Let's also, instead of using that tool.
You're going to sculpt capes for all these guys, right?
No, actually I'm not, because 2 things. The Corsairs come with cloaks for I think every member.
Oh, thank God.
And there's a motherfucking cloak that looks just like Dark Eldar cloaks. It's the skin grafts or the skins like stitched together. And this is perfect. This is just waiting to be a Dark Eldar thing. So I can't wait to try to put this bit on. The backpack is a little bit different. Like they have a much more square backpack than my homies. But I think I should be able to deal with that. And I think the shoulder is pretty similar too. I'll definitely scrape off this like interesting stuff here and maybe the trim here and then sculpt maybe like a spike or something like that.
Remember, guys, it's very important to scrape off anything interesting from your minis.
Oh god, yeah, I don't want that bullshit. Who the hell wants that on their model? But yeah, you got spikes. You got that little relief cut in the edge is already there. You know, got both of those things. And the shoulder droops more than the Dark Eldar one. The Dark Eldar ones kind of point straight out. Maybe that could be good. That's probably fine, if I'm being honest. I could just sculpt on top of it to make it just parallel and leave what's below. But I don't know. But yeah, so I'm very excited for these capes. And there's also like crocodile skin-esque capes, which that also seems like that would work for a desert motif, like kind of reptilian and whatnot. So I got some good options in this box, and I'm excited for it. Anyway, speaking of Dan, yes, Dan has his own model now. He got the guys over at Dark Sword. I don't know if he did it. I think Dark Sword just did it out of the goodness of their heart.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jim was just kind of like, yeah, let's just do this.
Yeah.
Dan's such a fixture.
He is.
And we're gonna make a wizard anyway, so it might as well look like Dan. There's a number of models in the Dark Sword range and in the Song of Ice and Fire range that are based off of just people.
Based off of Dan Mawson.
Yeah, they're all based off of Dan.
Yeah. Someone said that I'm overthinking it and that all I need for the 6th side of my die is a large M, which that definitely could work. Yeah. Okay. Let's just start sculpting in some lines, and then we'll smooth out those lines with color shapers just to see if we can get like some kind of fabric-y look here.
The kitten just picked up a Duchess.
Hey.
It says poop.
All right.
That's their message to the stream.
Thank you, kitten. Appreciate the purchase. Don't appreciate your poop though, so.
Yeah. You know, talking about places where I don't mind poop, I don't mind it on someone else's purchase. As long as I don't get a Duchess with poop on it.
All good.
Yeah. I have to paint my Duchess soon.
Yeah?
I'm supposed to be done with that by the end of the year, so.
Why by the end of the year?
Because that was the challenge when we were given them for Christmas last year.
Oh, okay.
I have to remind Michael about that now.
I went to a cabin this weekend to hang out with my friends and play some games and whatnot, and I got a chance to play the new DUNE Imperium game. That game is really good.
Doom Imperium?
DUNE Imperium. It's not new. Sorry, it's not new. It's like
is it based off of the hit film with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
It is. Yes.
So is it a first person board game?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm lying about all of that. No, it's based off the books, but also the movies. A lot of the art was lifted from the movies for this particular board game, DUNE Imperium. But it's just a solid game. It's a midweight Euro board game. So no dice rolling, nothing like that. All the info you need is visible in front of you about what everyone can do. So yeah, it's kind of like, it reminded me a lot of Scythe. But it's good. I recommend it if you're looking for a DUNE board game. 3 years old now. Gotcha. Cool. It's really popular on board game games. It's like the top 4, one of the top games, I think, on the site. Deck building plus area control is cool. It is, yeah. I guess I didn't realize how much of a deck builder that game is. Like, even just in reading the rules, it isn't obvious. And you're not building a deck before the game starts. You do it while the game is progressing. And it's not like you're drafting either. It's like there's something else going on. Where, you're acquiring cards round after round, and that builds your deck out. But you don't realize how important it is until it's like you're not getting cards routinely that you need. Yeah, it was a good game. Would recommend. I've run out of moisturizer. Before game, deck construction. During game, deck builder. Well, it's not even so much of deck construction during the game, because I think everyone starts with the same deck. You know what's weird is that actually the starting deck wasn't super clear based on the rule book, but if you go and watch the Watch It Played video about how to play Dune Imperium from Rodney, he tells you what goes in the starting deck, but the rules don't. So I was kind of confused by that. I also watched some movies. I watched Rec 2, the sequel to the popular hit Rec.
Oh, not Shrek.
No,
Rec.
not. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't super crazy about Rec 2. And maybe I wouldn't be super crazy about Rec 1 either if I watched it nowadays. The first one was really solid, but this one, not so much.
Are you going to go see Megalodon 2 in theaters?
Megalodon 2. Probably not. What's Megalodon 2?
It looks like the trashiest, schlockiest piece of garbage that I kind of want to go see. It's got Jason Statham fighting against giant super sharks.
Okay.
Including riding around on a jet ski with a sword.
Okay. This is sounding kind of pog.
But it's just like a cheap summer horror movie. You know what would be cooler than Jaws? If instead of a 40-foot shark, it was a 4,000-foot shark. Easy.
Just do the same thing we've been doing, but do it bigger.
The same but bigger is the American way.
Yeah. Truly. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm maintaining nice recesses in between like the fabric of this, I don't know what you want to call this thing, crotch cape, and also the armor paneling. Just want to make sure that it is sticking around and looking good. Because otherwise painting is gonna be a bitch. Oh, let's scrape out that green stuff. I always kind of surprise myself at how fast this sculpting process can go. You really can do quite a bit.
He says like an hour into the stream.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like I'm already done, and I'm kind of like I'm converting 2 guys. I'm gonna paint 3 guys total for the video. 2 of them are gonna be like heavily converted, and one's just gonna be like a normal guy, just so I can have a little bit of a comparison between the 2.
He's the guy that just landed on the planet and hasn't adapted.
Exactly, yeah. He got sent here. He's like, man, this place sucks, dude. My husband had to watch Cocaine Shark, and it was bad even for that genre. It was. Wait, oh, so there's a cocaine shark now as opposed to a cocaine bear?
You know, they just did a video on Red Letter Media like yesterday about this. They call it watch bait.
Watch bait.
It's, you know, all of these super cheap ass movies that use terms that are, you know, like a famous movie used. So you're like surfing around on Hulu or Tubi or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, I think I remember this movie. There's like a 250 bazillion things with Amityville in the title. Because it's a place, so it can't be copyrighted.
Okay, interesting.
Things like that. And then, so it's like, yeah, Cocaine Bear was a real movie, so let's make Cocaine Thing as a, cheap-ass ripoff.
Apparently, the whole creature feature / kind of comedy-esque take is very popular right now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Cocaine
Bear was pretty decent.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty good. I went to Black Site Studios and visited them, and their resin caster was also into movie production. And he was talking about a feature he was working on that was a riff on one of these new creature feature movies that are kind of like comical.
Is that the Alec Baldwin one?
I don't know. No, it's one that he was making. He was working on it. Also, Alec Baldwin is making a movie like this? What?
No, never mind. That's even a different state. That joke doesn't work.
Okay. Just ignore Evan, everybody.
Yep. Oh, this is fun. In your weekly insurance news, everyone, AAA is pulling out of Florida.
Just entirely?
They are, a week and a half ago, Farmers announced that they were non-renewing all policies in Florida. And it looks like AAA is doing the same thing for their insurance business.
What's the deal with Florida?
What is the deal with Florida? Runaway unmitigated risk from hurricanes and other issues.
That's unfortunate for Florida.
Uncapped litigation costs. No state regulation that's effective. Yeah, pretty much. You know what? Actually, Captain Howdy said it better than me. Hurricanes, old people, and meth heads. Yeah, that's the deal with Florida.
Okay. Sucks to suck, Florida. And again, I don't really care for insurance anyways. Although it's necessary.
Yeah, the recently passed caps, Rufus, have yet to have a discernible impact from what I've seen.
Okay. I don't know. Looks kind of all right. It's always hard to tell how smooth and plastic-like and intentional your green stuff sculpting is until you've primed it and realize that it looks like trash. So we'll have to see what this looks like when when it's all said and done. That looks okay. Doesn't look too bad. I like how also it has a little bit of motion too. It's kind of moving that way as opposed to just being straight down the middle or like straight left, up and down, perpendicular with the horizon. Okay. What should I do now? I kind of want to start to mess with the torso that's going to go on this dude. Because I know, I haven't even looked at it really yet, but I know there's going to be some problems probably with it. So let's do that. And that's the end of my political talk. Oh, we're getting political in chat right now. Dangerous. All right, put it down. Who cares? Okay, let's figure out from the instructions which dude I'm working on, and then we'll grab his torso. Kill Team Nachmund. All right, this homie is the one. C49 and C50. I wonder if all of the backpacks will just work. Maybe they won't. Let's find out though. C49 and 50. Okay, put a timer on. How long is it gonna take me to find the right bit? You would think it wouldn't take that long, but you'd be wrong. Oh no, okay, I found one. 50.
5-0.
Is the one I need. Oh, and the other one I need is right next to it? Okay. Good job, Games Workshop. Oh, this one's got a bunch of feathers on it, though. I don't like that.
You don't like feathers in Dune land?
No, I don't.
What about ostrich feathers? They live in deserts.
Yeah, they do. I just don't like feathers very much.
You heard it here first, chat. Scott's racist against birds.
I'm a feather hater. Oh, also, this shoulder has a spike on it already. Nice. And they also have like a waist wrap thing, so that's kind of handy. But there's a lot of gobbledygook on the torso. And let's take a look at a normal torso. A lot of it's obscured. Oh, and oh yeah, every single dude has like this chest thing where like the combat drugs pump into his titties. So maybe I could like use this gem as that kind of thing to like run up his shoulders. That's a very common design detail on Dark Eldar Warriors. I probably will remove this gem. I'd like to remove the detailing on the armor plate, but it's particularly hard because there is a large strap in the way. And I could remove it, but that would be so difficult, but also interesting. Is that stupid? Maybe that's stupid. Okay, well, let's start with what we know we're going to do for sure. Oh, also, let's see if that other cape fits this one, because if it does, then I would love that. I'm sure it does. All right, let's see. Okay, it's not perfect because the shoulders don't go together nicely because the one receiving end is expecting one peg, and that one apparently has several.
The kitten is buying more stuff.
Heyo!
Bought a Kill Your Friends t-shirt XL, and then it's gone. The message said, it's my birthday, and then I didn't see the rest of it. So happy birthday.
Tit gem drugs. Yes, titty drugs are crucial. We've heard him hate on dinosaurs, and the birds were inevitable. Yes. Thank you to the kitten, though, for celebrating your birthday by buying things off my merch store, apparently. I appreciate that.
This is a method of celebrating a birthday that I endorse wholeheartedly.
Yeah, of course. I agree as well. Just hanging out.
Hanging out.
Just buying things for yourself that you've always wanted, but no one gets for you on your birthday. I get that. I feel
but
that.
Only from the Miniac store. Don't buy anything anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, does this guy, is he gonna need some like tabbardy thing hanging down the middle of his waist? Probably. Okay, so considering that, I think I'm gonna get rid of this thing.
Oh boy, the Diablo 4 patch notes are up.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, everyone's mad about them. Oh boy, I wonder what Ganon's up to.
Ganon?
Yeah.
Ganon is in Diablo?
You've seen the CDI Zelda memes and stuff, right?
CDI Zelda memes. Nope. I have not.
Chat, I think it's there deep in his internet brain. Let's see if he remembers when I show him a picture.
Deep in my internet brain.
The internet brain. Perfect. Let's set up the browser.
Yeah, these pieces gotta fit together nicely. Yeah.
You gotta tell me you remember this garbage when it was big on YouTube.
Absolutely not.
Oh no.
What on earth is this?
It's the CDI Zelda game.
What is even CDI? I don't even know what that is.
It's like a game console from like 1990 that it had a CD drive, so let's make animations, and they're great.
What do you mean it had a CD drive? Most consoles have a CD drive.
In 1990?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. When did
PlayStation was 1996, I think.
Okay.
Chad, am I just too old? The CDI didn't sell like any units, but
Chad, tell Evan he's too old. I know.
I'm gonna spend the next few hours sending you YouTube poop of CDI Zelda.
Don't do it. I know Dark Eldar have the gems on them, but just like not the amount that the Corsairs and the Eldar have on them. Like it's just too much. It takes them off. What's the deliberation? You're not too old. Scott's just a man-child.
Coronary Jump, that's not the CDI Zelda, though. That's the Zelda 90s cartoon that they made one season of as part of the Mario Brothers Super Show.
Ooh.
Which also is amazing. And I believe, it might not be currently, but it has been on Netflix in the past. I rewatched that Zelda show, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. And, yeah, it's amazing. Truly. That's true. They have lots of weird cutscenes. The videos are certainly better known than the system. I wouldn't be surprised if the CDI sold less than 10,000 units total. How many CDI consoles were made? Thanks, Wikipedia, for not answering my question. Yeah, there were 200 games. God damn. Okay.
200 CDI games?
Well, I'm wrong. Apparently, the Philips CDI sold 570,000 units. However, the word only is put in front of that, and I'm like, that's a lot. It's a good question. What sold less, the CDI or Sega CD? Over a dozen CDI-capable consoles were made.
Jesus. That's a lot.
Well, so the Philips CDI, I believe, was like a thing that they licensed for different markets. I don't know. Holy crap. They made various versions from 1990 all the way to 1998. Yeah, they definitely, they licensed it out, because, like, Sony made one. Philips made them. Yeah, okay, cool. Neat.
Neato.
Wow.
Wow. I grinded off that like extra flourish detail on the holster there and the couple of the gems. I just feel like you can still see the ribbing there a little bit. I'm gonna have to come back and sand that a bit more. You can see it in the glossiness of the plastic paint or the plastic glue. But I'll come back with a little bit of a spongy sanding file, and I'll try to get rid of that.
For some reason, all of the names in chat changed to blue.
Nice.
Why? I don't know.
You may never know.
We just did.
All right. I'm gonna clip off this little sash thing on the side here.
And it's gone.
And then I will try to blend it into the surrounding sash with some green stuff at some point. I like to do the majority of like the removal of the material like ahead of time.
I got bad news, Captain Howdy. You're green again.
Okay. Now I should be able to sculpt on top of that pretty easily. Viewer picking up an Evil Paint Wizard shirt. If you guys want to pick up some stuff from the merch site and have the message appear on stream, there's a little area right at the end of the checkout where you can put in your YouTube account name, and also you can put in like a little message for us to read right at the end. The one issue with putting like moisturizer here is that over time you will forget about it. I guarantee it. And then you may do something like running your hand through your hair and then get moisturizer all in your hair. Definitely didn't do that like over the weekend. Okay, how much of this do I really want to work on? Or fix rather, or remove? Oh, it's gonna be so much to get rid of. Okay, let's start with the shoulder. I don't necessarily care for this flaring detail.
So just cut it off.
Cut it off. I do like the spike, but they're getting in the way a little bit, so we'll get rid of that. One thing I don't know how to do is sculpt little spikes. I'm not sure the best way to do that. I was thinking about just like buying spikes and like gluing them on or shaving them down to the size that I need and kind of going with that. That seems like that would be a terrible idea. It's always nice to put some plastic glue on top of stuff like this so you can just get a nice glossy surface and you can kind of see, did I miss any like large bumps or divots? Looks pretty okay so far. I don't think I'm gonna want to remove like that belt and stuff, but man, it's gonna be a pain to do that, but I want to do it. I want to have that like kind of cable detail running from the chest to like the backpack area because it's in every single Dark Eldar Cavalite Warrior model, I'm pretty sure. Here, we'll get rid of this little gem here on the waist. Sanding stream, let's go. Toothpick tips might not be a bad idea. Just kind of clip the tip off and kind of go with that. I have some other ones. I have like track pins from the scale model train world that could be like okay. The thing is just you want there to be like a nice taper, right? And sometimes using little pin stuff like that and clipping it off isn't the same. It's just like a thin little rod as opposed to having like a nice little taper toward the bottom of that like kind of like triangle shape. Dollhouse wrought iron fence could be good too. Well, I was talking to Valbjorn about this, and he recommended just sculpting them, which you could do. I'm definitely gonna like accidentally shave off some of this detail here, so it's gonna need to be resculpted. That is okay, or it can be sculpted over. Either one is fine. I find that redoing a fabric like this isn't too challenging because you just have to follow the details that are already sculpted into the material. It's not too bad. I'm curious what this little belt thing is doing. It just kind of comes under? Oh, maybe that's for the cape. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna just, before I rub that moisturizer somewhere where I don't want it to be, I'll just put that in. All right, let's just moisturize my hands a little bit. It's time for Scott to get overly complicated. Sculpt a few, cast them, mass produce them. That is definitely a thing that we could look into doing. I kind of thought about that a little bit, and I wouldn't mind having like 5 or, between like 5 and 7 different Cavalite warriors that got casted and stuff. It'd be interesting to think about how to do that, right? Because you would need to like, they're cut up right now for casting, but for liquid injection casting, like where you kind of force hot liquid into a metal mold. And so if I wanted to cast them myself, I would need to do the conversion and either keep it in pieces that I knew were right for casting, or sculpt it together and then physically cut the model into pieces that are good for casting. One of those two things. I'm not sure. But yeah, I do want to get complicated. So let's start slicing off this belt. This has a chance to get gnarly quickly, and I'm unsure. I wonder if there's a different breastplate that would work for me, because this seems pretty generic. It doesn't seem like it's particularly special. So let's see what other options we got. Even more gobbledygook on that one. Yeah, this one right here, similar level. We have the female, the Farseer, or the Farseer equivalent for the squad. She's got less, but this one is a more specific torso, so maybe that one wouldn't work with the parts we're putting together. Okay, other sprue. Yeah. Oh, there's another female one. Okay, so maybe that one wasn't the one I'm thinking of. There's another one right here. That one looks a little bit more specific to a particular bit. It's got some fur. Not huge in the fur. I don't know. They're all pretty complicated, so it's not like I'm gonna make it any easier for myself going with a different part. Got a spiky leg right there, though. That's kind of cool. Don't forget to splatter resin all over the mouse while casting, yeah. I mean, that is kind of what you want to do when you're casting models, right? You mean splatter resin all over the master mold, right? It's time for, oh, I read that part.
Just ace him in the face with resin right before you're casting him.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make sure to do that. I think I would need to take a break from life after making that kind of mistake.
This life has been suspended.
Yeah. All right. Before I clip off the belt, let's just see if I'm able to clip off like the raised detail.
I wonder if you could 3D scan the minis as an alternative to casting and reproducing them.
Yeah, probably. I mean, well, from what I've seen from 3D scanners that use like photos and like you rotate the model and stuff like that, I don't know. I haven't been super convinced with the resolution. So maybe you can like do a scan and then like go into the model and like crisp up the details and stuff like that. That I'm not sure about.
I've seen some that seem shockingly good done from photos, but they're still, I don't know if they can really do miniature work. That said, it would be interesting to pick up like a entry grade actual 3D scanner device and see what it can do for miniature work. I've watched some automotive YouTubers using them for like doing light CAD work where it's like, yeah, I want to make a new suspension upright for my car, and measuring all of these weird points in 3D space is a huge pain. So I bought a like $800 3D scanner, and it's perfect.
There you go. That is pretty cool, actually.
OSW Guild says, does Vallejo airbrush primer go bad? Just now had my black primer that was almost empty, constantly clogging my airbrush. Switch to a new primer and everything is fine. My answer to that question is yes.
I don't use it routinely, so I don't know, but Evan sounds like he does.
All right, so here's my deep dive theory that someone from a paint manufacturer might come in here and just tell me I'm wrong, but primer comes in really big bottles, right? Our paint pots for miniature paint are very small. So when they get low, there's not a lot of air in there. Whereas if you have a big bottle of primer and you only have like, I don't know, less than a quarter left, every time you open the cap of that bottle, you actually let in a lot of air. And so every time you're opening it, some more of it will cure, right? Because it's a reaction with the air. And the lower it gets, the more air it has for that reaction. So I think the bigger a bottle you have and the lower it is, the faster it goes bad. Just Lego says the Vallejo airbrush primer is just bad. I disagree with that. It's like my favorite.
I'm actually shocked at how like well the Vallejo primer sticks to paint. Like when I did a comparison a long time ago, it was like everyone else was like in this middling area, and then once you like used Vallejo, it was shocking how much the paint adhered to the primer, like how much better it was. And I had like some pretty intense tests. They weren't camping and they weren't intense, Evan. Just to get that out of the way. But yeah, like it was crazy. Like I would run I had a little chamber with rocks in it to weigh it down, and the little chamber had sandpaper on the bottom, and I would drag that little box along each row of primer, and Vallejo like stood up to that kind of abuse and other forms of abuse, like easily the best.
I have to call out something really quick.
Yeah, what's up?
The Spain of Plastic did, in fact, change his name on YouTube to Spain of Plastic because he was complaining earlier that it was just his name.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, you can change it. He did it.
EOB does have a video on that where they take a look at a scanner, what is it called, photorimetry or something like that, to see how that would work for miniatures. I didn't end up watching that one.
Yeah, so the Vallejo primer I think is the toughest stuff I've ever used. I agree with you. It sticks paint on top of it sticks very well to it, and it sticks very well to plastic. Every time I talk about how the Pro Acrylics primer is the only one I don't like, people chime in to say, "Oh, you're supposed to let it cure for 24 hours and so on." I have a set of MCP minis that I've been working on, and those were primed with the Monument Hobbies primer a year ago. I think that primer is cured, and it still very easily rubs off. Like the lightest touch on a corner.
The lightest touch.
Primer gone. And it's weird, too, because their paint is pretty tough. But the primer just, it's like nothing.
No good.
So, whatever.
Whatever, man.
Now everyone's talking about how they want to get a 3D scanner.
I'm trying to think if there could be other uses.
Like we could scan our faces
Yes.
and make really janky looking 3D models of us.
Yes, of course.
And then make Lawnmower Man style animatics.
That was the first thing that I thought of when I was thinking about 3D scanners. So yes to all of that. No, that's not what I was thinking of. What about like terrain, like kind of lower poly count stuff? Could you like scan a thing, like if you could get like that cool vampire terrain from the new Warcry box set, and you could like 3D scan that and print out a couple of those for like a couple tables, or like just more scatter terrain for your games. Would that work?
There's the other side of that. It would be very cool to scan stuff. Be like, man, this is a very cool barrel with a dent in it. I'm going to scan it and then scale it down, and it's scatter terrain.
Oh, like a real barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah, the dumpster outside has this like great dent in it or whatever. It's, you know, I want to recreate all of this cool stuff for my war scene.
I would think that would work normally, but you might just get a lot of extra detail that just doesn't render very nicely when you scale it down. So you might need to simplify the model.
Yeah, exactly. You would have to you'd have to crush the model a bit. I mean, all of the 3D scanners, because of how they render, where it's like what do they call it? Like point placement rather than just actually trying to make the shape. So they have a bazillion vertices. So obviously you're going to have to decimate the mesh and stuff. But Polycam makes pretty solid 3D scans. Yeah, I wonder how small or big you can take this stuff. Can I use Polycam to go outside and like scan a apartment building? You know, like these the MCP New York apartment building is cool, but I want 5 more. I'm just gonna scan some of these buildings out here in St. Paul. Yeah, sweet. 3D scan Scott licking attendee like his elf model licking the dagger. Pretty sure you'll find that elf model's licking a lollipop.
This is true. I kind of fucked up the little orb thing. Oops, I chopped it a bit.
Uh-oh. Battle damage.
Yes. I think we're going to keep the one belt on there. But this one going across the chest, we're going to try to remove so you can just see more of that armor. I want to see that armor. I want to see that cool khaki color. I don't want it covered by a bunch of filigree and other stuff like that.
Everyone knows that belts are what make you cool, though.
Yes.
It's a sign of rank, status, and wealth, is how many belts you can have. I don't know how much of the final plastic is going to show up on the front of this model, but I am going to try to rescribe in the sash that kind of runs along his lower waist here, just in case I don't green stuff that again. I might not need to. I could just shave away some of this plastic, and we'll probably get to a place that's pretty satisfying looking with some nice sanding and applying of plastic glue. We'll see though. We'll see.
This is kind of always the scary part of the process where you're like working on the conversion and it looks like total ass. But hopefully with some scraping and some sanding with higher grit paper, it kind of gets back to that nice polished plastic look and looks somewhat good. A lollipop elf is headcanon. It's becoming that way. With many belts, you can make artwork such as The Room. Wait, what?
Tommy Wiseau wears many belts.
Does he?
He's a man of many belts. I don't know if he does in the movie, but he does in real life.
He's a belt guy.
What?
He's a belt guy?
Belt man.
Belt man.
Can I get a... Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Can I open image in new tab? I can. Wow. I really am living in the future right now. There you go. Tommy Wiseau, belt man.
Wow, okay. Look at that.
Like I said, it's a sign of wealth and status.
The belts.
And he is obviously the most wealthy statistist.
I mean, he certainly can pay for stuff. Didn't he like produce The Room in both film and digital? And he had 2 cameras running at the same time?
Yes.
If the disaster artist is anything to believe, he actually did that, which is
yes.
Which is crazy. It's like that is such an expensive way to make a movie.
He clearly had money to make a thing.
That he did.
That's right, Green Model Gaming. Belt. Leather belt.
Or strength for stam.
Scott doesn't remember all the old internet memes, but he remembers many of them.
I remember the ones that matter. Not this CDI link.
How
bullshit.
dare you?
Oh, I also played some Dice Throne over the weekend. You guys like Dice Throne? I'm thinking about doing the other 2 elves with candy as well. Any ideas? I mean, the ranger can't be holding a sack of candy. That's a pretty easy one. Just take the head out and put it in like a sack of candy, like he's like Santa Claus or some shit. And you can make the witch elf like she's like pulling, you know, Laffy Taffy. You know how you kind of like knead it, stretch it out, put it together, stretch it out again. She can be doing that because she's kind of like a 2 hands working together kind of vibe. Okay, let's take a look at the chest, the titty drugs, and just see what they got going on. Okay, so it's on a raised up platform, and there's no recess in between the shoulder armor and the tube. It has a nice flat platform to run on. So maybe what we'll do is we'll try to connect these 2. Or the cable can just run in between and it's not a huge deal. That is also totes fine. I wonder if lead wire would be close enough. Or is this, I don't know if it's actually lead. I bought this wire from a hobby store. It's probably aluminum. Yeah, aluminum rod. Wait, no, that's way too big. I have a smaller one. Here it is. All right. Let's see if this is pretty close. It's probably like double the thickness in diameter, so that probably would not work. There's got to be a smaller one though, but not like this nice metal. This aluminum rod. I'm assuming it's aluminum, not lead. But it just bends so nicely. It's like so easy to do cables on buildings and stuff like that with this stuff. Oh, here it is. Well, here's something. Yeah, what is this? Aluminum rod, 0.79 millimeter. I wonder if they make a smaller one. Did you see the 2 new battalions in the new AOS General's Handbook? No, I didn't, but I did hear from John that they kind of nerfed the shit out of vampires. But we kind of all knew that was going to happen. I want to see Scott sculpt a plate carrier now. What the fuck is a plate carrier?
It's web gear.
Web gear?
Yeah.
Like the internet web or like spider web?
Neither.
Which kind?
You know the vests that someone wears when they're carrying around magazines because they're in the military.
Oh, okay.
It's called web gear because it's webbing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so a plate carrier is like...
It's like a... Whatever you would see like a U.S. Marine wearing would be a type of plate carrier. An IOTV or whatever. Where it's got molly webbing on the front. And it carries a ceramic plate inside. Yeah, tactical. What? I didn't see that, Orthodox monks. I haven't looked at the new handbook. He's saying apparently there's a battalion that gives +1 attacks with 1.
Like just a generic battalion?
Yeah. Is that true?
Across the army?
Is this... But I mean, battalion is, you know, what you put the guys in.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Damn, dude. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that?
My drops. Need to 1 drop?
Oh, I suppose so. I need to go first.
I always thought hard plates were a lot more comfortable than most soft armor, Captain Howdy. Theoretically, soft armor is more flexible, but it just makes you feel even fatter than you already are. Well, chest rig doesn't necessarily have webbing, but, you know. Now we're getting into the weeds of tactical gear discussion. Yeah, we're talking about that military body armor.
Do I get rid of this other sash? No, we don't. We get rid of the tiny little ball though. This little thing. I don't know what it is. I hate it though. I hate it. So intense. I just want to like get rid of every detail that might have people think that I use the Corsair box to convert this. And you know, like sometimes when you see a conversion, you're like, holy cow, what the fuck is that model? And then you realize later, oh, that's so-and-so. I would love it if this would at first look like a new model and then second remind you of what it was made out of. So removing little things like that just kind of like contribute to the feeling of a model, I think is a great way to do that. I don't know. God, now Rufus is doing it too. Come on, Rufus. We're better than this. Say no to tent jokes, okay? Okay. Got rid of that little bauble or whatever the heck it was, that little detail. I might just shave off this entire gem because there's like a little recess or a little raised platform around it. And because I already fucked it, I might just shave it off so that it's a nice little flat thing, and then I can just sculpt a little thing on it. As opposed to trying to like re-sculpt that curved surface and mess it up. It ain't gonna work out. There we go. Cool, just like that, we got a cleaned up torso, ready for a little bit of conversion work. We got a Johnny Boy in the chat. Scott, have you seen the movie The Foot Fist Way? I think I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. No, I don't think I've seen that movie. Is that a new one? Or is that an old movie? The Foot Fist Way. Let's find out.
It's from 2006. Oh, yeah, I remember this. It's got Danny McBride.
Oh, it's got Danny McBride in it? Oh, man. All right. Jody Hill. Who's Jody Hill? What have you done? Observe and Report. He did this before he did Observe and Report. Also, Observe and Report is 87 minutes long. That's fucking tight. This one's 83 minutes long. All right, we're going to watch this one. This seems like a great movie, John. I'd watch it. Wait, so Rufus is saying that the models in this particular battalion get +1 to the entire, to all models, not +1 to just the battalion. I mean, that seems insane. Okay. All right, let's keep going on this chest. It's the movie Danny McBride wrote that made him famous? Whoa. Okay. If you can get like 8 around a 25mm wizard boy, that's still a lot of attacks surrounding a dragon with the wizard hero is another thing though. Okay, so it has to do with being close to another model in order to get these attacks. Okay, so it's not just like a flat +1 attack across the entire army, no requirements.
The new GHB is out in stores, and so is the Harbinger's Book 1 thing that starts the new Path to Glory campaign.
Okay, so they have a new, like Thondia was like a narrative campaign. Is that what you're talking about right now?
Yeah, this is like the Dawnbringer Crusades, Harbinger's Book 1, blah, blah, blah. Which we should do, since we're not playing enough AOS.
Yeah. You're right. We should look into that. Start another escalation campaign. Find other people to attempt to paint armies with and fail miserably.
I have roughly 2,000 painted points.
Yeah. All right. Largely fail miserably with. How about that?
I don't know. I feel like most people succeeded. Yours is pretty much painted, right?
Yep.
Mine is pretty much painted. Alex kind of started with stuff that was pretty much painted. But sure, his is pretty much painted. Dan's is almost done. He's just painting gold trim for the next 7 years. And John's army is fully painted. He started with some stuff done and has done some stuff since then, so... I'd say mostly we were successful at painting and escalating things.
Okay. Painting and escalating things. I like that. All right, let's also... Let's do the back as well. I'm just gonna go with the one that matches like the Dark Eldar vibe with like the skin being stitched together. I'm trying to look at. I'm seeing that there is a little bit of a difference here in terms of like swoopiness, and I think it's that way because of the particular pose that this guy is in. He's kind of walking toward you, and so his back calf is like, you know. I wonder if we can kind of just do it like this. Maybe it's this leg that uses that thing. I don't know. Some leg needs some kind of space. But I think instead of trying to use this and make it work for our purposes, what we'll do instead is we'll use this. And if I need to do some cutting of the cape to make it get out of the way, then we can do that. But let's start with a thing that looks better to begin with. I could probably 3D print a bunch of spikes in different shapes.
Oh, that's definitely true.
And then just kind of drill a little hole.
Like how you can 3D print heads.
Could I do that? It would need to be like glued. It would need to be like attached to a sprue of some kind to make it printing easier, but also to make sure I could like cut it off without just like losing the spike somewhere, like during cleanup or whatever. Only when attacking wizards. Okay, that's not super bonkers.
Wizard destroyers.
Wizard destroyers. Do we need that? Was that necessary for balance?
I mean, this is the season of the wizards, so of course they're going to have to put the anti-wizard thing in too.
Okay, so that's the thing. The thing is wizards.
Yep, that is the theme. So there's primal magic. Primal magic. Whoa.
That sounds pretty intense.
And then there's some anti-mage stuff.
Okay.
And everyone seems to think that this is going to be like, not the last season, but the one before that, where the anti-wizard stuff is just better and is going to disincentivize people from bringing the thing that the season's about.
Oh, like, okay.
Like bounty hunters versus whatever, Galatian veterans, where it was like nobody wanted to bring Galatian veterans because bounty hunters was... just like, oh, they have bounty hunters on the other side, and I have Galatian veterans, so I lose. Not like counterplay, but like, I just don't get to have fun. Yeah. Hooray!
Okay.
Light Bubbly, how do you get rid of ads on YouTube? You get YouTube Premium. Or if we turn on channel memberships, that would also do it, I believe. But, yeah. Ira Palmer wants to know, Scott, how do you get into the sepulchral guard?
Sepulchral guard?
Sepulchral.
Sepulchral? I don't know. There isn't a great way to get into it. every once in a while someone drops out, and then pretty much immediately someone picks up a spot. There is no schedule for when they leave or when there are new opportunities. And honestly, I've made promises to people in the past where I'm like, oh, I'll let you know when it happens, but like I'm not even fast enough to notice it. Like, I check my Patreon pretty routinely, and I haven't even noticed like it when there's a available one that I can like message someone. So you kind of got to be on the ball, and just check it when you can.
So hire a hitman.
Yeah, yeah, that's the solution. All right. Yeah, these are gluing together nicely, but not necessarily lining up with the shoulders perfectly, but that's fine. We can definitely do some sculpting over top of that. Easy peasy. Oh God. Sometimes I'm like squeezing together two plastic parts and then like I don't notice it, but I'm like imprinting my thumb on the model somewhere. Gotta make sure I'm not doing that. Okay. All right. I can still see there's a little bit of that recessed detail right at the bottom that hasn't been fully scraped off. I think I'm definitely gonna have to do something where I like prime the model, at least initially, to see if I missed anything, clean it up and give it a prime again, kind of like you often see guys doing with like scale model stuff.
Is everyone excited for Baldur's Gate 3?
Baldur's Gate 3. Are you excited for that, Evan?
Yeah. I wasn't that excited, and then they showed off that you get to fuck a bear.
What? Actually, though?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
There's even a very minor internet controversy about this, which is like, of course there is. They showed off some content from the game like a week ago. And, wow, Huddleston says, aside from my baby, it's all I'm thinking about. So they showed off, like, because they were talking about, like, how you can romance some of your companions and all this stuff. And they were like, here's an example scene. And it's like a gay romance scene between elf and I think human druid, and the druid gets carried away in the moment and wild shapes into a bear and then transforms back and is like, sorry, I lost control.
Seriously?
Yeah, and like the player character is the other one, you know, like the elf or whatever.
Okay.
Or the vampire elf.
Wait,
and you
so
had like choices, you know, like what you can say in that moment. And one of them was like, no, I liked it that way. Go back. And it doesn't like show anything, but that's the one that they demoed on the stream. And so he transforms back into a bear, and the camera pans over to a squirrel watching in a tree that drops a nut and looks shocked. It's the best. It's like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
It's D&D, baby. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly care about like that kind of stuff. It's crazy to me that you would see that in a mainstream video game like Baldur's Gate, though. Like that's shocking. I'm more excited for Baldur's Gate 3. What's the joke here? Isn't that what we're talking about? Oh, okay, we're joking with the pronunciation.
Baldur's Gate? Yeah, you just missed the bear sex conversation, Rufus.
Damn it, dude. What a conversation to miss.
I mean, like, it's one thing to go to a gay bar looking for a bear. It's another thing to go to a gay bar looking for a man that can actually turn into a bear.
That sounds like the ideal situation.
Pretty much.
Imagine trying to have sex with a bear and thinking it was a druid and then it not being a druid and getting fucked by an actual bear, aka dying. You know, that's really what it comes down to.
Hey, listen, grizzly bears are only like 3/4 of a ton.
Oh my god. They just eat you alive.
1,500-pound man. But it's all muscle.
What is this conversation right now? What are we talking about?
I'm very glad that I didn't play. They released the first act of the game. God, what, like 2 years ago now? A while back, as sort of the pre-release. Like, here's the first chunk of content of the game, and there's a bunch of revisions to that and stuff. But still, like, I was just like, I'll wait for the full thing to be out. It's made by Lyrian Studios, the guys that did the Divinity series, Divinity Original Sin and stuff, which are very, very good role-playing games. And like the feedback from that was very good. And yeah, Lyrian Studios lets your character do the bad ideas 100%. True in the other games too, where the evil choices aren't just like, yeah, okay, now that this NPC is irrelevant, I'll kill them. Like, no, you can do like stuff that completely messes things up. It's great. Yeah, I'm very excited for it. It's gonna be fun.
All right. I like messed around with one of those games once, and it was like, wasn't the kind of video game experience that I was necessarily looking for. But it wasn't Baldur's Gate, it was a different one. Okay. What should I do first? How much time we got? Oh god, I'm recording. 320? Okay, I could, you know what? I kind of want to sculpt another peak. Like right on his torso. DUNE Eldar? Something like that. The new AOS season is implementing a new primal die system that has to do with magic. It works similar to CP, where it's a use it or lose it before the battle round ends, then get more the next battle round. Okay, cool. John's just talking about bear sex simulators. That tracks.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't sculpt. I was considering sculpting like the tassel thing in the middle here. But maybe I shouldn't do that until I figure out what's gonna go in between his waist. Like another one of those other things. I kind of just clipped one off of the Cabalite sprue because I'm not, while I am interested in using this kit for the conversion, every single bit on this model, there are, the way this kill team comes is it's 2 rectangles, typical sprue sizes, and then there's a small one. On the 2 big ones, this is the exact same sprue you get when you buy normal Cabalite warriors. So I don't necessarily care about getting 10 warriors out of this sprue. I'm kind of just harvesting it for parts. And then this stuff, the eagle, the thing I care the most about is the guy who's like loading the gun. Like that's a sick bit. I can't wait to use that on one of these models. But otherwise, I don't care about the rest of the stuff on those other sprues. I'll clip shit off that all day long. Also, here's another gas mask kind of guy. You know, I got that in the Trueborn kit. I figure if I do that plus the other ones in the Corsair kit, I'll have some cool kind of like deserty models. And they all have like a cable running to there, almost like in Dune with the like the moisture and stuff. But that's not why I care to do it. My cables don't carry moisture; they carry combat drugs. All right. I looked at the time, then I forgot what time it was. 3:24. Okay, let's do a little cable that runs from this platform thing to like somewhere in the middle of the shoulder. It kind of just like ends. Like just ends right there in the back for no reason. So we'll do that first. And then because I have less of a chance, oh, you know what? I don't want to do that because I want to change this shoulder pad to be more straight and pointy and less droopy. Okay, so we'll wait on that. We'll do another segmented armor plate right here in his abdomen area. How about that? All right, I wonder if that green stuff that I mixed together at the beginning of the stream is still good right now. Probably not, actually. All right, screw it. I'll just make up some more. Did you guys get any games of anything in over the weekend? Age of Sigmar or an indie game? What'd you guys play? But the combat drugs are abbreviated to moist. That'd be hilarious. I always find that on this gray tube of milliput, it gets like crusty and yellow around the outside, but if you kind of like dig in.
Yeah, it like oxidizes on the surface.
Yeah, and it also gets like hard.
Yeah.
But the stuff in the middle is nice and soft. Twilight Imperium 4th edition with all the expansions that have just been released so far. Damn. Okay, so you're probably there hanging out and playing games for a very long time.
Twilight Imperium is a quick game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've never played it myself, but I do want to try at some point.
Oh yeah, the Inquisitors for Shatterpoint are out and in the store.
Oh yes, I saw that when I was actually in Waco at a game store. I was like, oh, check that out. Okay, I like to squish together all of the putties at the same time because it gives you a really good idea about how well everything's getting mixed together when you can really easily see the yellow and the blue part still in there. Necromunda and Wingspan. Ooh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, there's like that big new Wingspan. I don't know if it's an expansion or another edition of the game or whatever. Looked like a Kickstarter or something that had come into the source because they had like these big old shipping boxes of it.
Okay. OSW Guild says he got to play some Shatterpoint recently. Fielded the Inquisitors in erect face. They are very aggressive.
Yeah, that's why I pointed out that the Inquisitors are out.
Okay, cool. It was 7 hours with lunch.
Yeah, you did kitten. It's showing up as the kitten now. No, yes.
Nice. Yeah. So apparently 7 hours with a lunch break and various breaks for Twilight Imperium. Okay. Captain said, I played Kill Team recently. Teen backyard graduation party setup and cleanup, totally addictive. Wait. Oh yeah, okay. That's not a game. I got you. I played some Apex Legends and some Deep Rock Galactic. Nice. I bought the Obi-Wan. Oh, the Obi-Wan and the Darth Vader diorama. Nice.
Every time someone talks about Deep Rock Galactic, I look at that box under the table.
Hey man, it's your game, bro.
I know. I brought it in so we can play it at some point.
TF4 would be a much quicker game if it weren't for that agenda phase where everybody has to debate and vote on shit.
I did also see on our mini painting yesterday, someone painted up the figures from the Deep Rock Galactic game, and they actually look pretty good.
Yeah?
Art style translates. The Driller is really fucking disturbing because he has a war crime grin. All Driller, all Thriller.
Do you play as the Driller?
I played all the classes at this point because I've played the 500 hours of that game or whatever. But yes,
I started playing Risk of Rain 2. Have you heard of this game?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty damn good.
Did you play Risk of Rain 1?
No, my friends just discovered Risk of Rain 2, and they're like, check it out. So,
Yeah, 1 is a side-scroller, and 2 is a fast-paced third-person 3D action game.
It's very different.
They are.
Bless you.
Jesus Cristo.
Did they upset their fans by changing the game so drastically?
No, I don't think so. Feedback on Risk of Rain 2 seemed like it was wholly positive when it came out like 3 years ago or whatever.
Nice.
The first game was definitely one of those roguelikes that was like impossibly hard unless you got the right build going, and then it was incredibly easy.
Okay.
Where it's like, oh, I got like the right first 8 pickups, and now the whole game is trivialized, and I can just sit here on the hardest level and kill everybody forever.
Okay, that seems not ideal.
It's how that RNG goes, I think. It's just like, yep, I got the god roll. After, 12 runs or whatever, finally, it's happening.
It's happening!
Excuse me. Scott, have you ever played Vampire Survivors?
No, I
The
haven't.
hit game.
Is that a hit game?
It is.
I
It's
haven't.
very
played.
easy to play.
Have you played it, Evan?
I've watched my brother play it, which is pretty much the same as playing it.
Okay, I think we need some more material. I haven't seen it. I've seen the box. There's a couple of games I want to play that are vampire themed. I would like to play Dracula's Fury. I think that game would be a lot of fun to try out. And I think Vampire Survivors is the one I want to play. And then the classic RPG has just like tons of board games for it. What's that RPG called that's like vampire centric?
Oh, crap. Has the role-playing games and stuff.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember? Vampire the Masquerade.
Vampire the Masquerade. It has a ton of board games attached to it.
Mm-hmm. The kitten said it right after I did.
Nice.
Yeah. YouTube definitely has a bigger delay.
Yeah, I think I can feel that as well when I ask a question and it shows up like significantly later.
We could run extra low latency, but why?
For that chat interaction, apparently. Okay, we'll probably want to put a peak in the middle of this chest because all of the segmented armor from the Dark Eldar race seems like it has some kind of angle going through the middle of it. So we'll probably do that. This is very soft. Ugh. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of like cut it here on the edge so it has a harder stop.
As long as it's not a hard R.
What's wrong with a hard R?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched a playthrough of that Orthodox, or a review or whatever. It was like an hour of gameplay of the Lives of P. And looks pretty sick, actually.
What is this?
So the Lies of P is a Bloodborne inspired game. Like it's a Souls-like in a very Bloodborne type setting, but it is also based off of like a reinterpretation of the story of Pinocchio. You play as Pinocchio.
Okay.
But it's all like super grim dark fantasy stuff. I think you'd actually probably get a kick out of it. I don't know if it would be a kind of game that you'd enjoy playing or not, because I don't know how you do with Souls-likes. But yeah, it's got a kind of steampunk fantasy vibe. London in the 1800s, but like Geppetto. It's like it's a cross between like an AI run amok type story and steampunk stuff. Like Geppetto created a whole bunch of puppets that are these amazing creatures, but they're like out of control and dangerous and stuff.
Interesting. I have never played a Souls-like. Is that the phrase you use?
Yeah.
I've never played a game like that.
Really? Interesting.
Yes, I don't know what if I would like it or not. I think if I were to play one, the one that everyone tells me to play is Elden Ring. I don't know how true that is, or
Elden Ring is probably the best one. It's more lightly more approachable than all of the other From Software ones, and it's just a great expansive masterclass on world building and space, and it's very cool looking and everything.
Okay.
I think I don't know. Maybe you'd find the setting of Bloodborne more interesting, but Bloodborne's also a like 8-year-old game at this point. So The kitten says, I just got Elden Ring in the summer sale. I wander around confused in it. Yeah, it's a really big open world game. And all of From Software's games don't like put like a quest marker up and say go here next. It's just like a couple things will be mentioned, like, you know, the Northlands are dangerous or whatever. And that's just kind of on you to figure out what to do. And that's intimidating, but a lot of fun.
Is that how you prefer your video games, your open world video games to be?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, like, I like a good, tight narrative story, but I also like just having the freedom to wander around and discover a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I was talking on the Discord with people about games, and I was like, the last Assassin's Creed game I played was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I really liked that game because, yeah, it's got a story that, you know, like it tells you, hey, the next thing you need to do is in this town or whatever, but you can just wander off and explore the Mediterranean and fight legendary monsters and, you know, rob people. Find the Bull of Minos, which turns out to be like an AI. Spoilers.
Spoilers! Okay, I have like this peak going in the middle here, and I'm not sure how I feel about it because the top panel does not have the exact same curve. It's more of just a straight triangle. So I don't know if I should just have the exact same design detail as the one above, or make it more dark Eldar-y. And I think I'm just gonna keep it with how it is. But I'm trying to think what's the best choice here.
I'm looking forward to playing Jedi Survivor OSW Guild. I'm just kind of waiting for things to even out on PC. It's what I did with the first game as well. I'll probably buy it like during the winter sale or something like that. At that point, it'll probably have enough patches to be a non-issue. I did my summer sale purchases. I picked up the Spooderman games. Spooderman and Spooderman Miles Morales.
Did you pick up anything for Prime Day as well?
No. There's never anything good on sale on Prime Day.
Yeah, I didn't get anything either.
The last two were so disappointing, I didn't even look this time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I also did not look.
I did buy stuff for Lime Day, though.
Lime Day?
The Linus Media Group parody of the Prime sale.
Oh, wow.
I actually posted about it on the Discord because the final deal that they did was too good. Not a big deal for us. There was a bunch of complaining from Reddit about how expensive the shipping was on these discounted products, because LTT just charges what shipping actually costs generally.
Right.
And so international shipping is wildly expensive, as you well know, right? Shipping something from here to somewhere else in North America, 10, 20, maybe $30, depending on how big it is. Shipping that same thing to Germany, 50, $100.
So
very expensive.
Does LTT not have like a distributor or someone to help them with shipping in foreign countries and stuff?
No, and they've talked about it. That's largely for tax reasons, but also the distribution lead time isn't like viable for them, and they've looked at it several times, and it's probably just never going to happen.
Okay.
Well, anyway, they offered free shipping, and Linus like almost had a meltdown on Wan's show about it, because like he expected some people to take advantage of it, but like they have like a little live orders from these place in the globe thing on Shopify.
Yeah.
Well, they started Wan show super late. Like our time, they went live just before 11 p.m. I think.
Okay.
Which is, they're supposed to go live at like I think 8 our time. So
3 hours late.
So Europe was waking up. and Europe started putting in a lot of orders, and Australia put in a lot of orders, and it just became a joke that it's like, yep, we just like did not make any money, because please buy something that has margin. Don't just buy the on sale things, because we are going to get eaten alive. It was amazing. It was amazing. Best Wan show in a while.
Just because Linus was raging.
Not raging, but just kind of like every time he would look at his phone, he would be like, "Oh God,
oh God,
I'm losing money. It's happening. We have solved the liquidity problem, but not in a good way." But yeah, I played through the Spooderman games, and they were really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like Spooderman, and the games are really good.
Apparently there's a game where you can play as... and it reminded me of this of Spider-Man because of how the gameplay works. But you can play as Gollum?
Yeah.
And it's like a terrible game or something?
Yeah.
But like you like kind of leap around Spider-Man-esque, but yeah.
The reviews have been very harsh on that game.
Is this a new thing?
Yeah, it came out like 2 months ago.
Okay.
I think.
It's very recent.
Yeah. Came out without a lot of fanfare, and people were not pleased.
I'm kind of confused. Who would even want to play that game? Like, who wants to play as the dejected Gollum? You know?
I don't have good answers. Okay. The studio was shut down after launching the game.
Oh, sad.
Oh, there's a donkey video on it. I didn't watch that.
Oh, I should watch the donkey video on it. Yeah. That would probably be hilarious.
Yeah, not everything can be good, I guess.
Yeah.
But the Spooderman games, those were good.
Nice. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Delivered. I was a little hesitant to buy them because they were only marked down 33%. But like they never go on sale for more off than that. And after watching, I went watched the Spooderman movie in theaters, and then I watched the other Spooderman movie.
It's a lot of Spooderman.
Yeah, it is. And I was feeling the Spooderman vibes, and I was like, sure, I'll give these games a try. Worth it, even though they were relatively expensive. I also got on that BattleBit hype train. A buddy of mine bought me that game.
BattleBit.
You know about this, Scott?
No.
It's a game that's basically like if you took all the best elements from Battlefield, Bad Company, and 2 and 3, and then made a game in Unity that looks like Roblox, but plays like Battlefield. And doesn't have any microtransactions, doesn't have any weird level up systems where you have to play with one gun to do another thing, has pretty decent level design, has tight shooting mechanics, and this 3.5 person dev team has sold like 3 5 million copies in the first 2 weeks after launch.
And how big is this team?
3 people. There's like, I think that they had help from a 4th person, so sometimes it gets reported as 4, but they have 3 developers.
Okay. I'm just going to make an assumption here that there's probably going to be a long time before you see anything from them that's like worthwhile. Just because like to be able to, it's like Kickstarter, right? It's like when that one company that makes really fancy, expensive tables launched their Kickstarter campaign, Wormwood.
Oh, Wormwood, yeah.
And they sold like $20 million. It's like, okay.
We're booked out for the next 2 years.
Yeah, it's like if there was like a thing in their vlog channel where if they were to, with their current workforce, work on all these tables with their tools and their processes, it would take them 8 years to fulfill that campaign. And so they were forced to expand their business to be able to meet expectations in a reasonable way. And it's like, okay, what do you do after that? You know, what do you do after you hire 10 new employees, buy a gigantic industrial grade planer and all these things? It's like, okay, we need to run another Kickstarter campaign so we can make $20 million in 2 years. That's kind of like the interesting thing about success, right? So for this video game company selling a ton of these things, it's a digital asset, so they all get to get shipped like immediately. Nothing hard about that. But like to be able to deliver on all those people's expectations long.
It's a early access thing. And
yeah.
So
oh, yeah. Okay.
It's fully playable. It's great. It's a ton of fun. But it's also like, oh boy, pressure's on now. They're talking about like the audio redesign because all of the audio in the game is just like from asset packs, and they're like, I think we have to hire this out to someone because none of us are audio engineers.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. They're also they have to take out a loan. Because even though they've sold way more copies beyond their wildest expectations, the lead time between them making sales on Steam and them getting paid is several months because of how Steam does payouts for their games.
Okay.
So their big payday doesn't happen until October, and they're having to run servers for like 5 million players on a single purchase game.
Oh my.
Yeah, they're like talking about how like, yeah, if we can't get a loan, we'll have to shut down the servers because it's so expensive to run all these game servers.
Oh my gosh.
Good problem to have, but definitely like also a problem you wouldn't even consider. They also, because the game is only $15, players that buy it in like the whole Oceania region, you know, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand stuff, they're like, candidly, we lose money on those sales because the server operation costs are so ridiculously high in that region, particularly in Australia. Dang. That a flat $15 just doesn't cut it. But that's okay. They've sold plenty in the rest of the world where they are positive. So,
are you a Battlefield fan?
I've played many of the games, though certainly not all of them. I get enjoyment out of them. I think the series peaked at probably Battlefield Bad Company. Battlefield 3 was also very good, but I have grown tired of the formula. And then BattleBit came out, and it's a ton of fun. Okay. And it has some like very fun features from more realistic shooters, just kind of added on. And some things that more realistic shooters have been talking about implementing for years that they still don't have, and this game has. Like consolidating magazines. So, it's very cool.
Consolidating magazines.
All right, so...
Who doesn't have that? That seems like a very basic feature.
Well, most games don't even track your magazines, right? Some realistic shooters do, and as far as I know, all of those don't let you move bullets from one magazine to another. And so, like, Squad doesn't let you do that. Yeah. Having fun?
I said this earlier. I was like, I'm going to fuck up one part of my model working the other part. And I did just that instantaneously.
Yeah.
Okay.
The joys of sculpting.
Yeah, we're not gonna do the shoulder part because this happens. Anyways. Okay, so consolidating magazines. What does that even mean?
It means it's just moving bullets from one of your gun's magazines to another, right? You shoot 10 out of one magazine, and you want to move bullets over from another one that's, got 11 left or whatever.
Doesn't that happen automatically though? It's like when I run out of, when I'm at 10 bullets and I reload, my max cap doesn't like go away. Like how many I had left total. It just consolidates the ammo for me.
Right.
Crazy?
Well, I mean, that's just it. Is there are a lot of shooters that aren't realistic in that way, where it's just every time you hit reload, you have a full magazine.
Oh.
Whereas with this, is like you have 6 magazines on your person. Each one of them has 30 rounds in them. If you use 10 from each, now you have 6 magazines with 20 rounds in each one of them. So every time you hit reload, you have 20 bullets.
Okay, that's pretty intense.
It's very realistic. Don't worry, it's a Battlefield game. It's very rare for that to actually come into play because you'll probably just die. But it's cool that it's there.
That is, okay. Do you prefer that in your games?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of prefer more of an arcadey experience.
Well, it's definitely a very arcadey experience. It just has some realistic gunplay elements that add some fun to it.
Okay.
Is realism really the goal? Brian Smith asks. I don't think realism is their goal. I think realistic satisfaction is their goal. I would also describe pretty much all modern shooters as actually not being realistic as far as like gunfighting is concerned. They're realistic as far as airsofting is concerned.
Okay.
And that's what these games feel like, is airsofting. It's a lot of fun. And everyone has a big cube for a head, which makes headshots easier. Boom, easy.
That is nice, though. Makes everyone feel good. They can aim well. I had a stint with Battlefield games. I played a lot during Battlefield 3, and then I played even more when Battlefield 3 Close Quarters came out. And I just heard incessantly how I started playing with the wrong Battlefield and how Bad Company 2 is just significantly better.
Yeah, I think Bad Company 2 was probably the peak of the series. That's they embraced their level destruction in a way that no game since has done, without it being like a stupid gimmick with the whole Levolution thing, where it's like, oh yeah, that tower always gets blown up in a specific way and so on. Like Bad Company, just like walls are blowing up, people run around, crazy nonsense is happening. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Gunfighting is actually just hiding in a trench and shooting at a tree line for days. Or being in an apartment building and watching a specific direction and just hearing a lot of gunfire on the other side of the building and knowing that you have to cover your flank and just sit there. Yeah, Orthodox Monks, that exists in a lot of games. It's the retention of it. There are a lot of realistic shooters where you just drop ammo on the ground when you reload. So, I definitely recommend people check out BattleBit though, because it's $15. What have you got to lose? It's like going to McDonald's, but better.
But better.
Because you can shoot people in the head. It makes a really satisfying ka-chunk noise when you do it.
All right. I think I did okay. I think it's a little bit not centered, actually. And it's kind of killing me. But it just looks so nice right now that I kind of want to just be okay with it not being centered.
Remember that like the gun will cover it, so it'll be harder to tell.
I don't know what gun I'm going to use in this guy, but you're probably right.
He's probably not going to be like arms to the side yelling like Conan the Barbarian or something.
No, but I have this cool bit that actually came with the guy who hangs off of the Raider, and he holds his gun like this. And it looks super cool. But there's another guy in that Cabalite Trueborn who's holding a gun in a sling and loading a handgun, and that looks really cool too. I just don't know.
Yeah, but those hands are in the middle as well.
That's true, yeah. I can't remember if there was another Corsair who had like a cool gun that I thought might have worked. Let's see
Probably.
here.
The Corsairs are pretty neat.
Yeah, they got tons of stuff. So this is the guy that I'm working on right now in like the
He's a
various
bird?
options. He's a bird. No, he's not a bird. But it's this guy's stance.
That's not. Are you telling me that's not a bird?
I mean, one of those things is a bird. Yes.
I said he has a bird.
Oh, they said he is a bird.
I mean, he might be under that helmet, but I don't know that. But I can see he has a bird, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, the strange thing is the other one, the Cabalite box, also has a bird. So I have 2 Dark Eldar bird bits now.
Dan approves of this.
The imperfection is perfectly realistic. There it is. Okay, we'll take it. But yeah, so I don't know what weapon to use. Let's see. Okay, here's the full squad. I'm definitely using this hooded bit
We can't see it.
for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
That one's definitely getting used in my Dark Eldar dudes. I also love this pose. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Where is that for my dudes?
Sniper guy is always a win.
Yeah,
Sniper
definitely.
guy doing sniper things.
Yeah, dude. Sniper, no sniping. Maybe there's like I could just give all my dudes like, I don't know. I don't want to give them all like swords and handguns because that wouldn't really be what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to have splinter rifles. And so I want to figure out how to do that.
God, I think Dark Eldar are so cool, except for their weird dorky space guns.
Yeah. Well, all of them. Corsairs, Eldar, Dark Eldar, all have largely stupid looking guns, I think.
Yeah, the weird blobby things.
Yeah. But this is feeling Dark Eldar-y. I don't know. With the segmented plates, I think when I put in little spikes, it's gonna look even better. I love the knife. That knife is so fucking cool. All right, so it kind of slots in like that. So he's walking forward. He's got the cool fucking... Oh, he's got the cape. And then this leg is swinging back. I'm just curious if it fits in there with this cape right away. It kind of seems like it does. That's going to look cool, I think. Okay. How are we doing on time?
It's about 4.
About 4? Okay. Is there some small thing that I can do that isn't going to fuck up the other work I've already done?
It's a very stressful question.
Time trials. Let's go. I think this thing is largely cured. One thing I think I messed up is that I pushed the green stuff down, and now there's a bit of green stuff right here. I also think there's a gap there in the milliput. I think the milliput protruded past the plastic and created a little bit of a gap, and so I think some amount of that actually needs to be filled. So I don't know. Let's see if I can just kind of shove some down here in the recess and try to make sure there isn't a gap there anymore.
What? Orthodox Monk says, did you tell Evan about the thing I told you, Scott, about spending a pain token on a Tantalus when firing in the shooting phase?
God, no. I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
My brain just melted.
No, I did not. I remember you mentioning something about Dark Eldar list building, but because I am not like anywhere near full scale 40K, I didn't necessarily ingest it because it's not relevant for me at the moment. I do have a Talos paint engine though, fully painted, ready to rock. How was Evian night?
It's pretty good.
Still enjoying the game?
Yeah, very much so.
Good. burr on the edge. I keep trying to flatten it out, and then it just gets all mushy and nasty looking. You know, one thing I'm kind of concerned about with using lotion is that I am going to create a greasy surface that my putty won't stick to. But I'm kind of surprised to find that the putty integrates really well with the previous layer. I don't understand how that works out to my benefit, but I appreciate that it does. God.
It puts the lotion on the green stuff.
Or else it gets the hose again. I think what I'm gonna have to do, I shouldn't have added green stuff to this part. I'm gonna have to let it dry, and then I will sand and scrape it back. Okay, yeah. Oh, dang it. Okay, we'll just stop messing with that. Okay. I can't stop looking at this. I'm so hyped for this. It's gonna look so good. Okay, that's it for now though. If you guys enjoyed hanging out for the live stream on YouTube, don't forget that this coming Thursday, we're doing a gaming stream on YouTube this Thursday. We don't know what the game is yet. I'm trying to do either X-Wing or Legion, but I'm struggling to make contact with my Legion dudes. So we'll see what the game is gonna be. But this Thursday, 7 p.m. CST, if you're new to the YouTube stream, or you're new to the stream in general, we typically stream around this time, 1 to 4 p.m. CST on Tuesdays, and 7 to 10 p.m. CST on the first and third Thursday of the month. And we do gameplay videos. Sorry, we do gameplay then. We're gonna try doing YouTube for this month just to see what it looks like, what it feels like. So let us know by the end of this kind of experiment if you guys enjoyed it, if it makes no difference to you, how you feel about it in general. But yeah, tune up on Thursday for a stream. We're gonna be done with this one for now, but yeah, looking forward to trying this out some more. Otherwise, any last words, Evan?
No.
No? Look at my Star Wars anime shirt. What do you think of this?
It's pretty sick.
Thank you. I found it at a thrift store. I feel like a poser though, because I don't really like anime that much.
But you like Star Wars.
I do like Star Wars.
You'd probably watch a Star Wars anime.
I probably would. This is true. All right, y'all. We'll see you this Thursday for a gaming stream at 7 p.m. CST. Otherwise, I have no words.
Cool.
Goodbye. Bye.